and become salutatorian. It was really important to have that good foundation freshman year. I had a lot of good grades. I was a perfectionist, so I guess that kind of worked. If you can do corrections, I mean, why not? That's just another opportunity to learn or fix your mistakes. Being the first NHS president was just kind of an experiment because there was, like I said, there was a lot to do and yet still not a lot to do because we were barely starting out. So we just kind of had to set a foundation. We took things slow and just set that there for everyone else to follow. Student Council and NHS, they both have official national memberships. Every single year they offer a conference for just to build leadership, and it was called LEAD actually. They talked about, again, splitting things in committees, so that's what we did junior year. They talked about bringing in more leadership, like maybe mentoring. So we didn't necessarily do that junior year, but we started out senior year. A lot of those ideas, they weren't necessarily put into once I came back, but they were put into the NHS chapter once the next president came in.
I think that in some ways I did lay a good foundation for what it means to be the student council president at Cass Tech. For one, I was definitely on top of a lot of the things that I was tasked with doing. I always made sure to make an agenda for the meetings. I was always ready with what topics were going to be talked about. I made sure to keep in contact with Ms. Vasquez about what events or community services that we were going to be doing. And I always made sure to also involve everyone with the planning involvement for different events. I think in some ways also it was very interesting for me to be the first student council president, just because I have Tourette syndrome and I'm also gay. So those are some things that in a normal high school people might get bullied for, but in Cass Tech it was a lot different. I was very accepted, and so that kind of laid the culture of the school, how it's very accepting and very inclusive. And really, I think that anyone can be the student council president if they really wanted to and really had the credentials. In the gaming club, my role was kind of split 50-50 with Fernando, the club president. So I mainly ran the tournament side of things. So whenever there was a Smash Bros. Event at the school, I would be the main one running it. Whereas he would do more of like the Rainbow Six stuff. Other than that, I did a lot in terms of actually getting the club started. Me and Fernando campaigned to teacher sponsors in order to find a teacher sponsor that would be willing to help us out. And we went to Dr. Arcala at several different points for different ideas for events that we wanted to run. So both those things were kind of like a 50-50 split between me and Fernando. So my role in the club was really just being a leader overall and helping to run several events that were happening at the school.
We're new. We're doing things that have never been done before. And the school is sort of like a character out of all the schools itself. So I wanted the mascot to reflect that and be unique. And I know for sure I didn't want to have an animal mascot because there's thousands of animal mascots already. And also what I don't like about animal mascots is they only embody one thing. Like an eagle soars, but what else can it do? I had the idea of a knight because I remember I went to a middle school I didn't attend a middle school, but I had visited one with a knight mascot. And I remember feeling like very connected with it. One day I just thought like, what if I combined a knight with a robot? So we could have the versatility that the knight brought, as well as being, tech focused. And I just called it a Cyberknight. It's a really quirky name, but it's way better than anything else I could come up with. I picked the halberd specifically because it's not really an offensive weapon. It became the leader's equipment. Basically, leaders in armies, like generals, they would have a halberd and they would use it to direct their men. The two that really got in competition with each other were the Tiger and the Cyberknight. When it goes for campaigning against the Tiger, I remember what I did is I'd just go to each classroom throughout the day and I'd give like a small speech on why a tiger wouldn't honor our uniqueness as a school. And I would instead say the Cyberknight is not only unique, but it's versatile. You know, it's relatable to us as humans are. But the Cyberknight eventually won out. And I remember the staff especially being in favor of the Cyberknight. One of the most profound experiences I had just as a girl who plays video games. I was playing Dark Souls 2. It's a video game with knights in it. I came across a knight named Alessia. Like that's a girl name. As a girl, like that experience really was the first time I actually felt seen. I think if there was ever a situation in the future where like the school has a particular instance of a Cyberknight, I'd request that character, that instance of Cyberknight, be given a feminine name. Because I think the best gift I could ever give to another girl is for them to have that same moment I did.
C stands for character, who you are when no one is looking. A stands for attitude, having the positive mindset and the open mindset. S stands for service, serving your communities. T stands for trailblazer, paving the path that isn't there yet, and paving it for others to follow. I think that the CAST Awards serve the purpose of awarding those who are really being the ones that are building the culture that makes up CAST Tech. Those who are serving, those who are leading by example, that could be leading the way through new clubs, organizations. It could be also leading the way by being a good character for others to model after. And you know, just having a positive attitude while you're doing all things. Being a team player, going to the group and saying, what do I need to do, team? You know, just having those positive traits build the culture that makes up CAST Tech. And to outside, they think we're one big family, and that's because we all carry those traits in some way or another. But I think that just came with being a model for what a CAST student should be. And I think that if you're doing all the right things, then all the right things will come. So just let it happen organically. Don't ask or don't force it. My advice to any student that is getting any award, doesn't even have to be all of them, is do it for yourself first and foremost. Because the rest will follow. If you're gonna do it for yourself, the school will look good, your family will be well represented. But at the end of the day, it's you that you're doing it for, because when you leave, you want to have it with you. You're the one doing it, but the impact is far beyond just you.
One of the I want to say coolest or most rewarding things about being one of the first teachers is that a lot of the decisions that we made, like seeing what they became, just those decisions that we made that at the time we were just trying to kind of do something to make it CAST Tech, but at that point nobody knew what that meant, you know? And so knowing that what we were building was going to potentially or hopefully be something that would continue on and would become like a part of the culture of the school. But throughout high school, everybody always changes a lot, and you have to meet a freshman knowing that someday they're going to be a senior and they're not going to be that little freshman. And so I think I just go into, like, I enter my classroom knowing that like all these kids are going to grow up. I do remember that first day looking around at my classes like every day and being like, I can't wait to see what they're doing at graduation. I remember looking around and being like, I wonder what they're going to do, you know? I wonder what this place is going to become. It feels like we finally finished building something, because for the last 4 years, we had the first freshmen, the first sophomores, the first juniors, the first seniors. And every year, you have like new classes, new teachers, new systems. We had to figure out how to deal with dual credit. So every year there was like some new thing that we had to figure out. And we knew that going in, but because it took 4 years for that to happen, now it kind of feels like, okay, we can refine things. Opening a school is a daunting thing to do. we weren't even sure if the school was going to be open for occupancy on the first day because they were still building things. And they have like that metaphor that you're like building the plane while you're flying it, and that's literally what we were doing, was building things as we were going. And it's an experience that I will never forget, and that I do not regret taking the chance to move to San Antonio and be here and build this, because it has been an amazing experience.